I'll first share an experience. So, some time back, there was this sannyasi who had visited the center, and I was explaining to him the practice of Raj Yoga, of considering yourself to be a soul and taking your buddhi to Baba. So he asked me a very interesting question. He said, "What do you think is your eligibility because of which you can become soul conscious and go to Baba, go to God, because God is the Almighty and we are very ordinary. So what tapasya do you think you've done because of which you can, become detached from the body or connect with God?" Because in spiritual practice, becoming detached from the body or going to God takes very long time. And in fact, many sannyasis, they spend their whole lifetimes, but they are not able to detach from the body and become soul conscious. So I said that I do not know what is the right answer, but what occurs to me right now is that I am God's child and so are you. And it is not difficult for a child to reach the Father. Yes, the child can go to the Father. And the second thing is, I am a soul. So it is not difficult to be me, right? So if I am a soul and God is my Father, so it's not about detaching from the body. It's about being in the awareness of who I am. And I'm not the body. So when you think you're the body, then detaching from the body is very difficult, because that is detaching from yourself. But when you know that you are the soul, so you're not detaching from anything, that is not the effort you're making. The effort is you're just sitting in the awareness of who you are. And how difficult is it to sit in the awareness of who you are? So he said, yes, that makes sense, that if you are a soul, then sitting in the awareness of who you are is not difficult. And then remembering God, who is your parent, is not difficult. So I said, this is the thing. So, but you see, today when I was reading the Murli, I got a sense of, Baba says that I give you the power to become soul conscious and remember me. And you see, there is the power of knowledge that Baba gives us to begin with. Yes, and you see, it's the power of knowledge that, with the power of knowledge that Baba gives us as a gift. Because you see, when I was talking to that sannyasi, what was the difference between me and him? The only thing was that I had received knowledge from the Father and he had not received the knowledge from the Father. That was the only difference. Otherwise, there was no difference in our capacities. So the difference lies in this knowledge. And Baba gives us this, Baba says, I give you the power to become soul conscious. I give you the power to connect with me. And the first important thing about this power is the power of knowledge. And it is said knowledge is power. So Baba comes from the soul world and gives us the knowledge that I am a soul, and what am I like, and what are my qualities, and what do I do feel like, what do I look like, where do I sit, and what is it like to be soul conscious. And with that power of knowledge, we are able to instantly experience how it is to be, how it is to be soul conscious. And this is a very big gift that Baba gives us. And Baba says that I give you the power of Divya Buddhi. And Divya Buddhi is also very deeply connected to knowledge, because whatever you know, you can experience, you can visualize. And you see, in English, when somebody makes you understand something, and when you understand it, you say, I see. So whenever you can understand something very properly with the power of knowledge, then it is equal to seeing it. So it is as good as seeing it or experiencing it. And this is the beautiful thing about Baba's knowledge. And this knowledge is what Baba comes to give us from the soul world. And then Baba gives us the knowledge that I live in the soul world, which is one thought away. Yes, so the soul world is not, yes, so just think about, you see, when you think about when you're in India and you think about the US, okay, so you know where is it? It is miles away. So then, even in your thought, you take some time to go there because in your thought, you know that it is miles away, so even your thought is a little delayed. But when you know that the soul world is my home, and it is the home of my Father and me, the soul, then you know it's one thought away. And then you know that this is my home, so it is not difficult to access. And it is my Father's home, and my Father is the one I have all relationships with. So with one switch, you can just end up in Baba's lap, and you can feel that you're in the soul world. You're sitting like a star in front of Baba, and the company of Baba is coloring you. And this is the knowledge that Baba gives us, and this knowledge is the strength with which we are able to consider ourselves to be a soul, and we are able to have this experience of having a relationship or yoga with Baba. And I also told that brother another very important thing. I told him that Baba has taught us the importance of the practice of purity. So we disengage our senses. So in the world, people have their senses absorbed in sensual pleasure. So even the mind and intellect are very absorbed. So just think about you watching a movie, and then when for 1 hour, 2 hours, your intellect is absorbed in seeing something, watching something, and it is colored with the vibrations of that which you saw and heard, then you sit in yoga. It's very difficult to take your intellect to Baba. Even if you know that you are a soul and Baba is your parent, that switch is very difficult. So Baba has taught us this practice of purity, and Baba says that you do not allow your physical senses and your subtle senses both. You do not allow your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your skin, your man, your buddhi to get absorbed in the, in the ras, in the taste of this world. And because of that, you do not need time to disengage from the pull of matter. And because of this practice of purity, so if you are leading a life of celibacy and you're eating pure food cooked in Baba's remembrance, and you're not watching and hearing stuff of the old world, then whenever you want to switch into the soul conscious state, it is a matter of 1 second. But if you are living a life where you're absorbed, your senses are all absorbed in this world of matter, then why do you think when you sit in meditation, it takes a long time for you to, just calm your mind down or just pull your intellect and take it to Baba? It takes a long time, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. Sometimes, your whole meditation is over 1 hour, struggling with that wandering mind and that flickering intellect. Why? Because if you don't observe this practice of purity, then your mind and intellect are not free. They are absorbed in the vibrations of this old world. And then it takes time to disengage and then connect. So this is why the another important, so Baba doesn't only give us the knowledge of the truth about the soul and about Baba and our home, but Baba also gives us the knowledge of how we should live, how we should stay in purity, so that it is very easy for us to connect to Baba. So these are the things, and you see, only we have the power to connect with Baba. And Baba says that with this Buddhi Yoga, when you consider yourself to be a soul and remember me, this is the only way to burn your sins and become free from vices. Yes, and you see, it's very interesting that in the world, when you engage in something physical, yes, so let's say you are partying, and there is light and music and dance and everything else, and then you're feeling very happy, very joyful. But as soon as that is over, you cannot sustain that joy. And in fact, after the party is over, you feel very tired and drained. You don't feel recharged after the party. It's not like you say, I don't need to sleep, I'll just go and work now. So the engagement in physical pleasures, they give you happiness, but A, that happiness is temporary, and B, that happiness drains you instead of recharging you. It actually depletes you instead of recharging you. And this is why, when Baba says that it is a false world, so this world also offers peace, happiness and love, but that is false. Now, why do we say it is false? Because anything that is true will recharge you. Yes, so, but you see, when we learn the knowledge of the soul, we understand that the soul is made up of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss and power. And if the soul is getting true knowledge, true peace, true love, true happiness, then the soul should become fuller and fuller. But in the world, we think that we are getting knowledge, we are getting happiness, we are getting love, but it is making us emptier and emptier. So this is why it is called false world, because whatever you are getting in the world is not recharging you. But when you sit in Baba's remembrance and you are detached from the physical body and from the awareness of the physical world, and you take your intellect to the soul world and sit before Baba and absorb the light and might from Baba. When you take the love from the ocean of love, the peace from the ocean of peace, then that recharges you. That is not temporary. That stays with you. Even after you come back, it stays with you, and slowly, gradually, that this practice, when done over the years, it is going to, reinstate you to your original full self. So this is the thing about true peace, true love, true knowledge, true happiness. And sensory happiness is very transient. But true happiness that you get from the true Father by having true Buddhi Yoga, that stays with you and keeps recharging you, and you slowly, gradually reach a point where you become full like you were. And I'll share one experience with you. There was this one Kanya, and she was, I think she was 21 or 22, and so she used to visit the center sometimes, and then she would, and it was years back. At that time, I talked on phone a lot, and I would engage with Baba's children a lot because I was very free at that time. And then what happened was, she would be partying and she would call me. And then, her voice would be like at the peak, and she would say, I'm having the best time of my life, sister, and I'm enjoying like anything. And just after 1 hour, when she's back home and she was into depression, so then she would say that I'm lying on the bed and I don't have energy to get up, and I'm feeling afraid, and there's nobody to take care of me, and I'm hearing sounds outside and I'm not feeling good about it, and I'm just cuddling myself up in the bed. So just think about it. You see, within 1 hour, you're oscillating between, two different absolutely opposite states, and we call it manic depressive, right? So that is the kind of states people are living in. And why? Because you see, the thing is, company, whenever you are in a certain company, whether it is the company of a person, whether it is the company of an atmosphere, whether it is the company of of something, then that company has an effect on you, and you feel something because of the company you are in. But as long as that company lasts, the feeling lasts. And then when the company changes, you feel differently. So that is very temporary. But when you are in the company of Baba, then you can always be in that company, because that is the only company you can have eternally, right? So it's not possible to be with someone or something or in some environment always, but with Baba you can be always. And the second thing is, when you are with Baba, you are receiving true light and might, which is recharging you So until this birth, if you stay in this company, then you will not need recharge for the next 21 births. And you will be able to be in that state where you can sustain yourself for 21 births. So Baba says that I give you this wonderful, beautiful method, and I give you the strength to become soul conscious, to remember Baba. I give you the understanding, the knowledge of how to be soul conscious, how to remember Baba. And Baba says this is the only method to burn your sins, which is equal to recharging yourself. So this is the only method to recharge yourself, to emerge your powerful sanskars and merge your not so powerful sanskars. And Baba says that when you do this for yourself, then you can help others uplift themselves from the trap of vices. So you see, everybody is suffering these days. And why are they suffering? So they always think that they are suffering because of people and situations. But they are not suffering because of them, they are suffering because of vices. Yes, and if you are free from vices, if you are operating or playing your part with soul power and in Baba's remembrance, then you could pull others also from the trap of vices. Yes, and I'll give you an example of this. So there was this one Mata, and she said that my husband is always insulting me. Yes, and I said, tell me more about your husband apart from the fact that he insults you. So she said, otherwise he's fine, like he provides for me and he's good with me and he's all right. So he's a good husband, but the only thing is he talks to me in a very derogatory manner. So I told him, but you see that he is not insulting you, he is just being himself. And that's all he knows. That's the way he knows how to talk. And if you don't mind, it will not matter. And you just think that, everybody will give what they have, and he's giving you what he has. He has that low self-esteem, so the words he will speak from his mouth will be full of low self-esteem, and it should not bother you. And you can remember that you are respectable and you are, worthy despite of his words. And then, she smiled and she said, you know what, I get it. And I understand that I'm giving too much importance to his words. And she went very happily back to her home, and for 3-4 days she felt that she's not feeling any any trace of whatever his husband is saying, that is not causing any turbulence in her mind. And after 3-4 days she said, I'm not feeling the same anymore. Again, those things have started affecting me. So I told her that, you have to create that state and that attitude. And for that, you need to learn Raj Yoga. And then she learned Raj Yoga, and now she is happy with the husband. And whenever he insults her, she just smiles and says, are you in a bad mood right now? So if you're in a bad mood, we could have some tea. Why are you taking it out on me? And then her husband has also started realizing that he's only, using words which don't mean, which he doesn't really mean. And you see, if you have overcome this pull of arrogance and insult, then when you share it with somebody, they will get it. And when they taste it, so when, have you seen that when you go to some shop, they'll give you a sample of it, sample of something, and then when you taste that, that taste will push you to buy it. So similarly, when you are an embodiment of egolessness, vicelessness, and you have won over your vices, and you are full of self-esteem, you're full of peace, you're full of happiness, then when you speak Baba's knowledge or share some experience with somebody, they will get a temporary taste of how it feels to be liberated from the trap of vices. And when they taste it once, they will want to learn how you got free from it. Because of course, you cannot free somebody permanently. So everybody has to make their effort to become free from vices and free from the trap of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. But if you are free, then you can give them a temporary taste of what it feels like to be free. And then that attracts them to learn and practice and make effort to be free. So Baba says that you have to be the salvation army that salvages or saves everybody from the trap of vices. But you can only save everybody if you have saved yourself first. And how do you liberate yourself from the trap of vices? The only method is to remember Baba. So the more you consider yourself to be a soul and remember Baba, and listen to Gyan, apply it increasingly every day, slowly, gradually you become free from the trap of vices. And when you become that and you speak, you share anything with anybody, they will get a glimpse of how free you are, or what real happiness or real peace feels like, and then they want to have that, and then they make that effort. So this is something that Baba tells us. And then today Baba also tells us that if you have the attitude of mercy towards every soul, then you will be free from the trap of feeling arrogant or feeling insulted. Yes, so you see that where there is mercy, there is no arrogance. And you see, even the most arrogant person would be very loving to his child. Yes, very arrogant. But when he comes before the child, he'll be, he'll not be arrogant. The child will pull his shirt, the child will slap him. But he will not feel, he will not be arrogant, and he will not insult the child. Why? Because that soul has the attitude of mercy towards the child, of compassion towards the child. And you see, when you have compassion for every soul, when you have mercy towards every soul, that I am here to bring benefit to this one, I am here to serve this one. So then when you are on service, your arrogance doesn't get triggered. So you know that you are here to serve that soul, because you know that they are not in their best state. And when they are not in their best state, you don't get offended by their behavior. And you don't feel the need to, to prove anything to them or answer back, or you do things that you do in an arrogant state. And you understand that you are not here to give them tit for tat or give them, to settle scores. You're here to serve that soul. So this attitude actually saves you from this seesaw of arrogance and feeling insulted. Because when you don't have the attitude of mercy and you don't understand that every soul is actually, a slave, and you're here to free them, then you take their words, take their behaviors very seriously, and you take offense at them. And then when you take offense at it, then you try to show them that they how dare they do this with you, and then you assert your arrogant self. But when you understand that this is a soul which is trapped under the burden of vices, and I have been appointed by Baba to free them, and when they are a slave of vices, how will they behave? They'll behave like this only, and it's normal. Just like it's normal for a child to be throwing tantrums, to be not doing what you say, similarly it's normal for a soul who is under the influence of vices to behave the way they are behaving. And then you don't take it personally, you don't feel offended, and you don't go into the trap of giving it back to them. So this is the thing. And you see, Baba says that even I remember there was this one scene where an elder brother was bringing his younger brother home, and his younger brother wanted to play longer, and the elder brother was just pulling him and bringing him home. And the younger brother, he just took out his slipper and started beating the elder brother. But he didn't mind. He just pulled him back home, and there he threw him and he said, I'll beat you so much, you will remember it for your lifetime. But he didn't beat him. So he knows that, when you're pulling him out of his favorite place, this is the way he'll behave. So this is how it is. So when you understand that, you are helping the soul come out of vices and they are trapped, so they will behave very erratically and in ways that normally you don't expect. But then you don't take it personally because you understand. And then mercy is an aspect of understanding. When you understand somebody's situation, when you understand somebody's state of mind, you don't feel offended, you feel merciful, and then you are not caught by the trap of arrogance also. Okay, Om Shanti.